Hi there, friends. Welcome to Harmony Hills Home and Garden. I'm Jenny, and we live and garden here in Baltimore, Maryland, Zone 7. Today, I am taking care of some bulbs that I purchased way too long ago. I should have had them already growing by now, but I figure it's an experiment now. Better late than never. Let's plant up some Paperwhite bulbs that are 2 years old and some Amaryllis that I purchased and should have planted 4 or 5 months ago. Let's get these jobs done and see what happens. Yeah, so, I've told you before, life gets away from me sometimes and I don't have time to fulfill all of the intentions that I set for myself. So I purchased these Paperwhite bulbs in September of 2022. Yeah, and I wasn't ready to plant them yet. I was going to do them forcing for Christmas. So in September 2022, I put them into my refrigerator and I said, I will give them a chill period and then I'll be ready to force them for Christmas. So I put them in the fridge and then forgot about them. Well, then I saw them over the course of the last year and a half. I saw them a couple of different times and I thought, I should try and see if those will grow. And I never got around to it. So here we are. It's January of 2024. It's a solid 16 months after I bought them. They've been sitting in the refrigerator around 40 degrees for the last 16 months. And so I want to plant them up and see if I can force them and get any sort of blooms off of them. I mean, I might as well try, right? I already have them. They're here. So I might as well put them into some planting medium and get them going. If they don't bloom for me, I know why. It's because they're way too old and didn't live through their very long, very cold winter. But maybe they'll bloom. I don't know. So I'm going to give those a shot. Also, I'm going to share with you some photographs of how I potted up some Amaryllis. I bought 6 Amaryllis from Longfield Gardens in the fall of 2023, so just a few months ago. And again, they came in September or October timeframe, and I intended to pot them up and have them forced in time for Christmas, or at least have them blooming right now, but I never got around to them. They sat in the shipping box in my foyer from September until yesterday. So when I took them out of the box yesterday, they were in these 3 bags. They looked pretty good. They had a little bit of whitish growth, but they had really strong, long roots on them. So I put them into some water. Now, I didn't want them to be sitting in water up around the bulb. I just wanted to set the roots into the water so that they could start to plump up a little bit and have a little bit of a head start in growing. And I let them sit in the water overnight. It's probably 15, 16 hours or so. This morning I went down into the basement and I found a bucket full of old soil. Now this is just a mix of old soil that is really, I wouldn't call it even soil. It's really just old organic material. I got it warm and wet and now it's ready to use as a potting soil. I'm using this beautiful clay pot from Berg Pottery. It does have a drainage hole in the middle, so I'm using a double piece of paper towel in the center, and that will hold the soil in but still allow the water to run out. It's pretty simple to pot up Amaryllis. You want to cover the bulbs only about 2/3 of the way with soil. So a nice layer of soil in the bottom of the pot, and then I put the 3 bulbs in, and then I fill up the soil up around about just past the widest point, so just about 2/3 of the way up the bulb. Now I like to cover my soil on all my indoor plants, so I had this roll of moss that I thought I could use to cover the top of the soil. But it turned out that this was the type of moss that is intended to be used as a table runner, and it was on a grid of sticky back grid plastic. So I tried chopping it up and making it into pieces and fitting it around the bulbs that way, but it became clear that that was not going to give the look that I wanted, so I switched gears totally. I have a big stash of dried hydrangea blooms that I have gathered over the past 3 or 4 years, and they keep beautifully in cardboard boxes. So I went and got a bunch of those blooms and I covered the soil with them. And I think it gives a nice, interesting look, and I'm pretty happy with it. So I went ahead and potted up the other 3 Amaryllis bulbs using the exact same method, just using a different type of container, a little shallower. On the console in the sunroom is where these are going to be displayed, so I took them in there. I have a whole bunch more of the hydrangea blossoms in that room, so covered up the second pot using the same method. And then I thought, you know what? Let me use that moss as a runner and make a little display here of natural elements. I pulled in the birch trees that light up on the tips that I used at Christmas, and this sweet little snail that I got as a Christmas gift, and some more flowers, dried flower heads, this birdhouse that I made out of natural elements a long time ago, some honesty seed pods, some allium seed heads, and I made a sweet little display. Now let's take care of those paper whites. Okay, so for this project I have some room temperature, kind of tepid water that I'm going to actually soak the bulbs in just for a few minutes. Now the amaryllis I did overnight. These I'm just going to do probably 10 or 15 minutes just to start to freshen up those roots. I have two different containers. They're both very shallow. This one I'm imagining a nice long windowsill type of arrangement. And then in this shallow bowl, isn't that beautiful? I got that for Christmas. I'm just going to do a nice big clump. And if I need another container because I still have bulbs, I'll go find something else. I'm going to be using this soil. Now this is leftover soil from other projects that I just was really using this as a compost / waste bin. It's pretty wet soil right now, so I don't anticipate needing to really water these bulbs in after I get them set into this soil. Also, you can see this is not pure potting soil. This is wood shavings, compost, potting soil, perlite, plant waste, all kinds of things. It's basically just potting medium. And that's okay. I don't have to have anything particular because you can actually grow, you can force paper whites in just plain water if you wanted to. So the first thing I'm going to do is open these up and kind of inspect them. So what I want is nice firm bulbs. So this one has dried up quite a bit. It's kind of squishy. I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot because I do see some green here, but I'm just going to set it on end so that the roots, these roots can start to hydrate a little bit. This one is also a little bit mushy around the outside, but pretty solid in the inside, so I think there might be some life in it. I'm guessing that's going to be the story with pretty much all of them. These are pretty much related, like they're similar to onions in that they have layers and layers and layers. And so an onion can be, you know, start to not be great on the outside layers, but the inside can still be good. So that's what I'm hoping for these. Okay, so this is the waste material. I think there were 3 in there that were just too mushy. I didn't expect them to do anything at all. The rest of them I put in here, so there should be 17 or so in here. And I should mention, these are the Paperwhite Tazette Near. That's the variety name. And I bought these because they're not supposed to be as fragrant as the Ziva, which are the most typical kinds of paperwhites that you find out everywhere. So I wanted to try these and see if they have a more pleasant smell. Okay, so this container has a drainage hole and no plug in it. So I'm going to get some paper towel to cover the hole. This will allow water to drain out, but it won't let the soil go through. Now I'm just going to cover the bottom with a small layer of soil here. Again, this is just basic or different kinds of organic material. There's some wood chips in here. There's, I think, some straw, there's potting soil, there's garden dirt, all kinds of things in here. And I think I'm going to fill this up, and then if I have leftovers, I'll fill up this other one. So I'm going to just start in the center, kind of nestle these in. There we go, 8, 6, I have 14 in here. That leaves me 3 for, I might put 3 into a smaller pot than this. Okay, now these aren't exactly sturdy in there, so I'm going to take some of this planting medium and just gently tuck some soil in between and around each of these. Now this material that I'm using is very wet, so I won't have to water this dish for a long time. Okay, so I have really filled this up right to the lip. So I'm going to press this down, give myself a little bit of room between the lip and that soil. pretty good. They're not fully submerged up to their neck, but pretty much. The soil covers up to their neck, but not all the way up the chute. And I think that's fine. Okay, and I have this sweet little Berg's pot. And I love this. So I think these last 3 will fit nicely in here. So I went looking in my basement for options to cover this soil. I found an old bag of sheet moss, which is really dried out. But that could work. I could get it wet. It won't get any greener than that, but it would cover nicely. So that's an option. I also have these mini pine cones, which might be cute, and some Spanish moss. I could also cover it with pea gravel, marbles, really anything it's up to your imagination. So I think I'll do this one with this sheet moss. Let me get it wet. So it's a little bit more pliable. Of course, it's very hydrophobic at the moment. So give it a good soak. Do I have a greener piece? I do. This piece is greener, so maybe I'll use this. So you can just tear this into pieces and fit it in here around these sprouts and tuck the edges down in, and it looks really nice, I think. With any luck, these bulbs are viable and they'll sprout up from amongst these little mossy pieces and be a really pretty display. With any luck. Now, you don't have to cover the soil, but I think it looks a little nicer with the soil covered. So that's one. And I think I'll do the same over here, just because I have the materials here and I like the clean look that it gives, kind of. Now there's a tiny chance that this moss will be rehydrated and spring back to life. Sometimes that happens with moss that I get at the store, but usually that's moss that's much fresher than this. This is really dry and old, so I don't think that's going to happen here. Okay, so this one is done as well. Well, I don't know if this is going to work. These bulbs, they're so old. I can't imagine they're going to be as wonderful as they would have been if I had planted them in the proper time. But anyway, here they are. We're going to give it a shot. I will keep you updated with progress on this and also with the Amaryllis. So, nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? Well, I hope you're having a wonderful time wherever you are. I hope the winter is treating you well. And I hope I'll see you again in another video real soon, friends. Take care. Bye-bye.